On March 10, 2021, in a secure facility located in the heart of Washington, D.C., the initial incident that would lead to a catastrophic intelligence failure took place. The main actor involved was the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, a key player in the country's efforts to gather and analyze intelligence pertaining to national security threats. As part of its operations, the NIA relied heavily on a digital communication system known as the Secure Intel Network, SIN, which was designed to facilitate secure communications among operatives and analysts deployed in critical missions. The first technical failure occurred due to a misconfiguration within the Specifically, an update rolled out to bolster encryption standards inadvertently introduced a vulnerability that weakened the access controls for sensitive communication channels. Rather than enhancing security, the update caused certain classified communications to become accessible to unauthorized users within the agency. This misconfiguration allowed specific external actors to exploit a secondary access vector, leading to unmonitored channels for information transfer. While the update aimed to tighten security, its improper deployment marked a significant lapse in standard operating procedures. As a direct consequence of this vulnerability, the first measurable impact began to manifest just days after the incident, escalating into a concerning trend. Intelligence reports indicated an increase in anomalous communications, with 15 unauthorized access attempts detected over a 3-day period. Within the first week, analysts noted a marked increase in chatter among suspected organized crime figures tied to the mission, correlating with key operational information that had been part of internal communications few days earlier. External monitoring systems tagged over 200 suspicious messages originating from known criminal networks, indicating that sensitive information had likely been exposed or compromised. The financial implications were immediate as well. The operations funding, approximately $2 million, was at risk of being insufficient due to delays created in an attempt to reassess the mission objectives in light of the new intelligence failure. Internally, confusion quickly spread across the NIA. Initial meetings among operatives focused on deciphering the unusual patterns detected in encrypted communication. Internal emails flooded the agency's channels, with operatives questioning the integrity of the communication process. There was a prevailing sense of urgency mixed with alarm as analysts scrambled to verify reports of the irregular activities.
The incident channel lit up with messages from agents in the field expressing concern about compromised intel flow and the possibility that their covers had been blown. Some teams began applying partial fixes, such as attempting to revert to older encryption versions that had previously been deemed secure. However, these tactical fixes did not address the root cause of the technical misconfiguration, which lay buried deeper within the operational framework. External signals began to surface as well. Users affected by the operational disruption reported inconsistencies in the information provided to them through the NIA's public-facing intelligence products. Minor media mentions sparked curious discussions around the frequency of leaks, questioning the agency's operational security. Some analysts drew links between the heightened criminal communication and the agency's recent operations, which raised the stakes considerably. Senior leadership braced for the possibility of a full-blown investigation, not yet realizing the profound implications of this compromised mission. As the situation unfolded, further investigation into the incident proceeded under the management of a newly designated task force within the NIA. This task force began reviewing digital logs, focusing on the operational procedures of SIN and its user access histories, looking for any signs of insider threats. Initial assumptions leaned toward the possibility of external hacking, but as the narrative developed, the likelihood of an insider breach became increasingly plausible. Analysts began to suspect that an unknown leak had not only compounded the system's vulnerabilities, but had also provided the organized crime group with actionable intelligence. With urgency, the NIA engaged in discussions with technology vendors responsible for the SN. They sought to evaluate dependencies on external systems that might have contributed to the overall failure of security measures. Investigators and engineers convened to analyze the extent of the compromise, reviewing equations of vulnerability versus potential threat actor capabilities. They anticipated a lengthy process ahead, one riddled with complications, as their focus straddled both immediate damage control and deeper systemic assessment. Still, all the while, tension mounted outside the agency's walls as unconfirmed reports surfaced, hinting at links between the temporary communications failures and recent high-profile operations targeting organized crime. The stakes rose with every passing hour. Decision-making processes, once linear, devolved into a labyrinth of conflicting information and rapidly shifting priorities as top brass sought to avert further fallout. As the sun set over Washington, D.C., the echoes of operational disturbances reverberated within intelligence circles. The countdown for a response continued, with the repercussions of the initial incident unfolding in ways that the NIA had not anticipated. The mission, once tightly orchestrated, now lay in jeopardy, engulfed in uncertainty and fraught with risks that extended beyond the initial brief. As the investigation deepened, external stakeholders began to observe inconsistencies that hinted at larger issues within the NIA's operational integrity. Analysts from other government agencies flagged unusually high access attempts to classified
classified databases linked to the ongoing investigation into the organized crime syndicate. Subsequently, a secondary analysis revealed that thousands of non-essential users had logged into sensitive systems during the peak of irregular communication. This prompted alarms to sound within interagency coordinated frameworks and initiated a wider audit of intelligence sharing protocols across various platforms. The economic toll of the compromised mission began to mount, with the total financial exposure climbing well beyond initial estimates. Within weeks, an internal report indicated potential losses near $4 million due to wasted resources, projected operational downtime, and the need for enhanced security measures across the board. Concurrently, numerous operatives were pulled from their posts, creating significant gaps in real-time intelligence operations, thereby further paralyzing the agency's ability to respond to ongoing crises. Amidst rising concerns, the NIA was compelled to transition from damage control to active enforcement. The agency requested emergency meetings with law enforcement to discuss potential criminal implications for the operational leak. By mid-2022, a task force within the FBI began investigating links between the intelligence breach and the organized crime syndicate's ongoing operations, leveraging intelligence agencies' shared data to pursue actionable leads. Emergency regulations were put in place, auditing user access levels and initiating temporary suspensions on key personnel to mitigate further threats. With the internal landscape in chaos, indications that external entities might be involved became compelling. Leveraging various investigative techniques, analysts determined that a series of coordinated attacks were likely enabled by an insider's knowledge of the NIA's operational patterns. Evidence began to emerge that linked certain communications to journalists who had unwittingly reported on the agency's activities, resulting in the unintentional exposure of sensitive operational details to hostile parties. As pressure mounted from multiple fronts, confidential leaks arose within the agency, igniting media frenzy about alleged corruption and operational mismanagement alongside investigative analysis. Reports detailing the NIA's operational failures began appearing on major platforms, amplifying public discourse surrounding national security failures. Documents later obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests revealed earlier warnings from within the agency, suggesting that operational procedures required revision to prevent similar occurrences. The fallout from the breach culminated in a formal congressional inquiry launched in late 2022. Lawmakers grilled NIA executives about the magnitude of the disruptions and operational accountability. As the inquiry progressed, details emerged about personnel conduct which played critical roles in the mission's unraveling. The hearings illuminated not only operational missteps, but also cultural issues within the agency, including the dismissive handling of red flags raised by field operatives. Within months, structural changes rolled out across the NIA. By early 2023, a sweeping overhaul of technological and procedural safeguards was implemented. A new internal policy enforcing strict compliance for user access and greater accountability measures came into effect. In parallel, numerous lawmakers proposed funding initiatives to bolster encryption technologies and promote robust training focused on operational security for agency staff. The repercussions of the entire sequence were substantial, marking a seismic shift in both agency policy and public perception. Media narratives had labeled the NIA's operations as profoundly incompetent, resulting in significant reputational damage that would take years of rebuilding to mend. Senior officials were held accountable. In a series of forced resignations, multiple high-ranking agency figures saw themselves replaced or reassigned, ensuring a full restructuring of leadership and operational philosophy. Ultimately, the investigation revealed an alarming confluence of human error and technological inadequacies that directly contributed to the intelligence mission's failure. By mid-2023, all personnel associated with the compromised operation underwent extensive retraining programs under newly implemented accountability frameworks. Reports indicated that while the operational mission had failed, its consequences brought necessary reforms vital to restoring public confidence in national intelligence efforts. As of October 2023, the NIA's internal assessments exhibit readiness improvements, though the scars of the incident persist. The agency recognizes the continuous need for vigilance and incremental progress, reiterating its commitment to operational integrity as paramount. The full ramifications of this failure echo throughout the intelligence community, serving as a stark reminder of the intertwined relationship between technology, human decisions, and national security efforts.